Alright, so look, this video is about to be pretty darn hilarious. Now, I guess Jordan B. Peterson, was at some event with Charlie Kirk and a bunch of other nutjob right-wingers, which is funny because Jordan Peterson always says he's not political and he denounces people that say that he's conservative. And he actually got embarrassed quite bad recently where he was, he just got all up in the denier thing, and then he had to go back and delete tweets where he called people biological deniers. It's just really cringy what happened to the guy. Okay, he's really been messing up lately. Now, this video is hilarious. Okay, he's going to be talking to Charlie Kirk, Kimberly Guilfoyle, and Donald Trump Jr. Now, I do believe that Kimberly and Donald Trump Jr. are like going out or something like that. This is going to be really weird. Jordan Peterson is just going to kind of start talking. I don't know what the intro context of this is, like if it's a photo shoot or what it is, but it's very obvious that it doesn't look like those people were actually expecting like an actual talk of some sort. And he's basically just speaking and they're just kind of standing there like, oh my gosh. But go ahead and check it out.
I was in Washington a week ago and I was thinking, we were talking about how to bring people together across the House divide, because the House is extraordinarily divided now and people aren't talking, and I thought it would be very interesting. Well, abortion is obviously a key issue, but it's one that's unbelievably contentious. But one of the things I thought about with regards to the abortion issue is that by the time you're talking about abortion, you're probably having the wrong conversation, which is why it's so deeply polarized, right? There's a sequence of bad decisions that have already occurred by the time that's the conversation. And one of the things you see that's really quite interesting, and I just started to think about it this way in this last week or so, is that, the traditional right, the conservative types, are pushing quite hard, and always have, for the encapsulation of sexual behavior within a fairly traditional structured marriage, right? But you're seeing sexual taboos. Sexual taboos are very common across cultures, but you're seeing the same thing emerge on the left in a completely different form. Because on the one hand, especially the radical leftist types, their basic claim is that anything goes, right? But at the same time, they're putting forward these affirmative consent regulations and laws in many states, and they're insisting that we live in the middle of a rape culture, and that they're acting as if sex is a very volatile and dangerous enterprise, which actually happens to be the case. And so even though that issue is extraordinarily tense, partly because people on the left, I would say, would like to let 1,000 flowers bloom, let's say, there is an accruing agreement that there's some deep discussion that has to be had about sexual morality. Mm-hmm. And that's a place where, despite the differences, that some sort of bipartisan discussion might occur. It's like, obviously, people are very upset about the manner in which sexual activity is occurring especially among young people. They're upset on the left and they're upset on the right. So it would be, so that's one of the things I thought I might discuss today.
I think that would be very powerful.
Yeah, it's how to encapsulate it. I mean, and I think it's partly also a consequence of the fact that we haven't adapted to the birth control pill yet. It was a major technological revolution, the birth control pill, and it's only been 50 years. And we haven't figured out what it means for women to have control over the reproductive function, or what the consequences what the consequences of that should be socially. The leftist types, especially in the 60s, thought you could just blow sexual morality apart completely, because now people were free to do what they want. But that isn't working. There's a backlash against that on the left as well. So it would be fun and necessary to think fun. It would be engaging and necessary to think that through, because maybe there's some room for a real discussion about that. So
I want a lot of your speech today to be questions, if you can, because this audience would love.
How much of it?
70%, if possible.
All right, so how long do you want me to talk?
I think we have you slated for quite a long time.
Yeah, so that was pretty darn awkward. I mean, everyone's just standing there in the background just like, oh my God, when is this guy going to stop talking? He's so annoying. Like, dude, I wonder what Jordan Peterson, I don't know if he has a side where it's not like, just a bunch of jibber jabber about a bunch of nonsense. I'm curious if there is a side of Jordan Peterson that's not like that, like this. Jordan Peterson, I don't understand why people think he's smart or has any, ideas that are making this genius philosopher. And if you look at the comments on this video, like I saw one comment saying that, like, everyone in that room knew that Jordan Peterson was out of their league. And it's like, what? This guy doesn't know what he's saying. And this thing specifically, I mean, he talks a lot but doesn't really say all that much. I mean, I guess he's trying to bridge a divide between what he perceives as a left-wing and right-wing difference on sort of sexual activity and sexual morality, which is, I don't know what he's talking about with the whole birth control pill. I don't know why he seems to, I don't know, he's just got some weird thoughts on that, period. But this guy is not somebody who is some sort of a genius. I mean, most of the stuff he sort of talks about is the USSR and just pretty basic stuff. So, honestly, it's just super cringy to watch. Let me know what you guys thought about this.